Hello, everyone. Welcome back for an episode of the Aristocool. Today, we're doing a podcast online from Buenos Aires to where are you?
I'm in Gold Coast in Australia. Hi, everyone.
That's that's amazing. So today with us we have Jacquie Blaze. So nice to have you on the podcast. She's an expert love coach. She has been in TV, many things, and she's now gonna introduce herself. Hello, Jacquie.
Hi, it's so nice to be on here, Elle. Well, my name's Jacquie Blaze, everyone. I'm a love expert. I've been a love expert for 2 decades, if you can believe that. I know I don't look that old. Um,
No, you don't.
it's a
I don't
pleasure.
believe it.
Oh, thank you.
It's a
So
pleasure
I'm
to meet you too.
Yeah, I'm very excited for your Aristocool podcast and for today's conversation. I love what you're doing and believe in it so much because everything is about energy, and I love that your focus is that.
Yeah, really. Everything is about energy and love too. Is like a pretty good subject of our generation, and everything that is happening right now is quite interesting on that. You must have many cool stuff to tell us. So you started like really young in television and journalism. Did you always knew that you wanted to work in communication?
I did. I always knew that I would. In fact, in high school, for my end of year of year 12, for my project, I did my major high school work in front of the camera. And so I knew that I loved working with people because I was such a natural giver, and I always loved being in front of the camera and shining under the light. So I guess the two
Yeah,
kind of merged at some point.
yeah. That's matching first. That's matching to you, and the camera loves you too. And
Thank
so,
you.
can you tell us a bit of like a background of your story? Did you grow up in Australia? Do you know that, by the way, I lived in Australia for 1 year?
You did? Wow, whereabouts?
Yes. So I did live there in Sydney, and then I backpacked. I did all the East Coast, all the Middle, all the
That's
West Coast,
amazing.
Melbourne, and Tasmania. So I know pretty well.
Well, you're going to have to come back and come to the Gold Coast. So
I would love to.
I'm originally from Sydney, but I moved to Los Angeles when I was 21, and I worked
Okay.
as an entertainment reporter. So I did that for a solid 10 years, and I knew that I wanted to do something more, something deeper, but I didn't know what that was going to look like. And then my work gave me the opportunity to specialize my career. And so they said, you can pick one of 7 areas. So there was wellness, health, anyway, love was in there. And I had all these books
Okay.
next bed that I wanted to read, but I never had time because I was too busy as an entertainment reporter going out at
Of
night and
course.
having fun and living my
Yeah.
best
Making
life.
contact, living the
Yes,
life in LA.
living my best life in LA and jet setting around the world. And so when I was afforded this opportunity to specialize in love, I had so many questions for me because I was dating amazing men, billionaires, and all these handsome, most eligible bachelor in America, but I wasn't working it out. I knew that there was something that was blocking me and I wasn't able to
Hmm.
move past a certain point. So we just kind of
Yes.
going on this roundabout, on this what I call the dopamine roundabout, which dating apps actually keep
Oh,
people
yeah.
stuck on.
Of course, it's like such a generational thing, and we're all kind of ADHD, chasing dopamine between social media, dating apps, and everything. That's create this dopamine loop for sure. And so, super interesting. You were in media, and then you went to Love Expert, which is super different.
So
And can you
different.
explain, yeah, how did you did this transition? How do you come from entertainment to go to love?
Well, I rejected it completely, Elle. I did not want to be called a love expert. So whenever anybody called me a love expert, I would correct them and say, no, 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 I'm just the girl that
Okay.
did the interviews, which was a famous line that Oprah used. And so I wanted to be a talk show host, and that was it. And in fact, I ended up then becoming a talk show host because of being a love expert. So that was something that was fulfilling. But no, originally I absolutely rejected it. I didn't want to do it. I thought it was embarrassing. I thought, oh my God, how do
Yeah.
I go from being this like
That,
cool girl and flying on private planes to being called a love expert? How embarrassing. But 18 years later, and being able to help so many people, I'm so grateful and honored that I'm a love expert. It's a purpose driven career that the universe or God, whichever you want to call it, really, you know, propelled me to be. So helping people gives me so much satisfaction, and also I was able to work it out for myself too.
Ah, that's interesting because it's like, did your method work for yourself?
Exactly. Well, I didn't want to put out the product unless I knew for sure that
Yeah,
what I was learning from the real love experts actually worked. I didn't want to put my face and my name to something unless I knew that it had integrity. And also, I
yeah.
didn't feel comfortable until I found the love of my life. So
Yeah,
that was
because I
really,
guess there is this thing where you're not gonna feel like you are valid to say the things if it didn't work for you, because then also people can be, and then did it work for you? And if you don't have the perfect partner or the love relationship you want, it's a bit complicated and you can feel imposter syndrome, even though you can have really good advice on love and not having found yours. But
that's
it
true.
goes together. It goes together. It's like, I mean, I have a certification in detailing, and I also do some therapy coaching with some people, not focused only on love, but more how to glow up inside, how to you feel better, confidence, and this kind of stuff. And myself, years ago, I didn't have confidence in myself, and I've worked a lot on myself, and I've myself do a lot of family constellation, detailing, and then you can feel that you can be legitimate, because I'm like, people gonna see me and think, oh, but how could you know? You have a confidence, whatever. I'm like, no, I did not. 10 years ago, I did not. I've been bullied in school, so I know what is it to go through the thing of not
Yeah.
having the confidence in yourself. So I
Oh,
think it's
it's
the same for you with the
yes,
love.
yes.
Like, it's like it was like doing your own research. And I think as a coach or something or an expert, you need to be your first product of research.
Absolutely. And also while people who may not have everything figured out for themselves can sound like they're giving good advice, they can't carry people to that place. So even though
Yeah,
they could be telling you something that's true, sometimes maybe they won't be, or they won't understand the whole picture, and they can't carry you there. Even though if
yeah.
they're telling you something that they know is the truth because they have that outside perspective looking in, sometimes it's just not what carries you there.
That's true. That's true. And so let's talk a bit about modern dating. That
Yes.
is a subject that's going to passionate everyone. So today it feels quite different from previous generation. I think
Mhm.
we are one of the first generation that is experiencing such different changes, because, for example, I think the dating life from our grandparents to our parents was more similar than the one that we have to our parents,
Yes,
because the
absolutely.
revolution, the technology, and everything. So, what would you say that is the biggest problem with the actual dating nowadays?
So I would say that technology definitely has really changed it. I think the biggest problem is that people are stuck on that dating roundabout. So they're going round and round because we were never taught a skill set in school because there was not any skill set. Until what
Ye-
I uncovered 18 years ago, and still today, no one has come up with a skill set. So that's why, I've kind of evolved and gone, okay, I don't want to retire out of my career until I'm at a point where I've actually shared this with the world. Because if it hasn't come out in 18 years, it's not about to start evolving suddenly. So, I love that
Yeah.
this whole coaching industry has emerged, but it's not something that is helping people. I think it's
No,
definitely.
because it's like you have everything. It's like nutrition. You hear everything in the opposite, and it's like the same in coaching. You have everything. And obviously, also, as it's like an industry where people are ready to invest some money, there is also some people that don't have the right intention toward coaching, because obviously, as everyone, coach should sell, but coach shouldn't be motivated by money. Money should be something that comes from the work. But if it's your motivation, there is an issue. You're not in the good field, because normally, if you're coaching, you really have the desire to help people above the money.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to naturally be a giver. So the skill set is really great because it actually equips people to know how to do the work, because we can't rely on a coach, because a coach, let's say they're a really good coach, they can take us to a certain place, but then what do we do after we're in that relationship? Do we constantly call the coach? We're
Yeah,
constantly
that's
relying on
true.
someone else, and then we're not
It's a,
doing the work, Elle. And we
and
need to
so
know how to do the
in the
work.
skill set, can you explain for the people that are watching us, what is the skill set? What do you do with it? What is it?
Absolutely. Well, just really quickly, the skill set is actually like a formula on how to fall in love. So it's so amazing that we
Okay.
actually actually that I can actually say that I have a formula that'll help anybody fall in love. So basically, it starts with taking people through. We've all heard, love starts with self-love. So we look at
Yeah,
seduction because, while people think seduction is about how we look, what we wear, it's actually about who we are and how we love ourselves because that's the most seductive quality.
100%. It's your
Yes.
energy. It's
Yes.
your energy, and I've seen it for myself. For example, even though I've not found the love of my life yet, so I'm waiting for you to help me.
100%.
But, like, the thing is like I've seen the difference. For example, 5 years ago or something, I didn't have the same mojo with men at all because I didn't have the same energy, and I had pretty much the same face. So it's not about being pretty or well dressing because even 5 years ago, I was stylist. I was already super dressing well, but my energy was not aligned. I was feeling still pretty but not confident, and all the things were going. And I see the difference now that I've done all this work or what. It's like people are flying like flies, it's like you attract butterflies or flies with honey and not by chasing them. And it's the same thing with your energy.
Yes, well, and also we meet people at the level that we're at, so we attract like energy. Um,
100%.
yeah, so whenever someone's picker is off, when they're picking the same type of toxic person again,
Yeah,
it's usually got to
yeah,
do with they're not at the right place themselves. And so the skill set itself is really amazing, Elle, because it actually gives people wisdom and knowledge, and confidence really comes from that because you can relax knowing what phase that you're in and where you're at in the developmental process. And it also equips you with obviously things like communication strategies, understanding value systems, and knowing how to speak in someone's value system, and how to progress and how to build a happy and healthy relationship. So it's not about strategies or manipulation tactics. It's a
no,
skill
because
set.
that,
It's a skill set. Yeah. And it
yeah.
helps people move beyond that dopamine high. So that's what I'm really excited about because there's a loneliness epidemic that's been happening, and
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's we're all behind screens all day at home.
yes.
We're not made for that. We have a rise also of anxiety and a lot of stuff that are related to this loneliness.
Yeah, so technology is the biggest problem because dating apps came out, but I think with AI coming out, and I'm working on something special now, I think that we have an opportunity to actually change that and make technology work for us. But connecting with people, although we can connect on here, is different to connecting in person, and
A
so
hundred,
it's
hundred
really
percent.
important. Yeah, it's really important
And
to use technology to our advantage, not to
yeah,
hide behind
of
screen.
course. And yeah, but it's like we're running on the dopamine, and also there is this thing where now people, they don't, if anything seems like a middle red flag, they're going to be like, okay, no, they don't want to fix, they want to chase. They're like, okay, but I will get the next person because of the dating apps and so many people we meet today by
Yes,
possibility of traveling or whatever.
yeah.
In all life, I think when you're 20 years old, you've met 10 times or 100 times more people, depends of your scale level of butterfly social, than your grandparents will meet in all their life. This is
Yes,
crazy.
yes,
Like there
it's
is, I don't have the exact number, like, but it's something like this. It's like the number is like, because we're now super exposed to meeting new people all the time and the apps and the whatever that we didn't have before.
yes, and we have access. We can fly. Back in the
Yeah,
day, my
yeah.
grandfather actually lived in Buenos Aires for 18 years. My great
No
grandfather.
way.
Yes, so we could
Okay.
be related here.
Yeah.
I will have to come to visit you, and you'll have to come visit here because that personal connection that we're talking about is crucial. So people need to go out into the community, but also they have to be mindful of being safe when they're going out because gone are the days where you can meet someone in a nightclub because you don't know who you're meeting. It's
Of
really
course.
important for people to kind of, I always say, go in with one eye open because falling in love requires a certain magic. It requires kind of falling, like the word sounds.
Yes.
But at the same time, you kind of have to go, realize
Yeah.
what the person's energy is like. And a lot of the time, a lot of women especially can't feel because they're stuck in their masculine energy because
Yes.
we're
Hundred
taught to be
times.
in business, etc. So the skill set really teaches us
And
how to step
also
in and out of
because
that.
we are attracted by the traumas, because trauma attack trauma.
Yeah.
So until you've healed, even if you could feel you, like it's like the people that are gonna trigger you an excitement and this fake love feeling are gonna be the people that are just right in your trauma and that are going to end up hurting you because you didn't heal yourself, and that's why you're getting this loop again and again and again.
Yes, and the thing about healing is, we can go into reparenting ourselves and the father and mother wound, but really what it is if you love yourself and you truly love
Yeah.
yourself, you will be able to heal yourself because there's only two
Oh
emotions in the
yeah.
world, love and fear, and everything comes under them. So the beauty about love and fear is that when you're in fear, because fear never goes away, you can give yourself love. You don't
Yeah.
need somebody to complete you to give you that love.
Oh, no,
You
no,
give.
no, no. No, no, when I say healing, it's like even by yourself, the way you speak to yourself, your inner dialogue. I know that like I've done
Yes.
this work because I was super like tough on myself, like younger and everything. And it's like really pouring this love to yourself, doing activity for yourself. And also sometimes I'm saying that, not a love expert, but to some of my girlfriend that are, chasing around this thing that I need to meet a man. I'm like, you should start by doing the thing just to enjoy them. Like we go out to enjoy going out and not to have this
Absolutely.
thing. And let's go to this doing this sport for that or doing that. And the people have this thing where they want and they put the energy outside. And when you do that, you won't meet anything interesting because most of the time you meet someone when you where you are at a point where you're like, oh, I'm super well single, my life is cool, I'm cool with myself, I'm feeling well, and then poof, someone will appear and will be a good story, the love of your
Yeah, you're
life or
spot
something.
on. You're spot on. So I always say people should get the skill set and really do the work on themselves to then be at that place where they're ready. Essentially,
Yeah.
being happy is going to attract someone happy. Otherwise, you're opening up yourself to really meeting someone who's probably traumatized themselves, and then you are forming a trauma bond. So, but I love
Yes,
everything that
exactly.
you say about healing. I'd love to know more about your journey and how you actually went into healing.
Oh, so the thing is like obviously starting from a childhood a bit complicated, and this kind of stuff. And also I was always I'm in the classic traditional Catholic family, but I was always feeling things so strongly. I was an empath, and also I think it's something I developed as a skill because as I had like a not like traumatic or what, but complicated family environment. It was my way to predict what was going to arrive around. It was to reading and scanning people from really young. And then I started to be like that. But it kind of was difficult for me to manage when I was younger, like 15, 16, because I was kind of grabbing, I was super empathic and all the energies around me. And it was a lot for me. And I was trying to speak about it, but like in my family, they were like what are you telling or whatever. And I always knew that I was a bit like different on that from them. And then I started to go to travel, to go to different places, to meet some people, to interest myself to healing. I then later on, I'm now I have a shaman that I'm working with also that is based next to London. I've been in India to temples of the Dalai Lama in the mountains next to Himalaya,
I
and
love that.
like way by way that working on my uh, healing um myself, and then working on my then I could understand, okay, then I have gift, and then I could also learn how to control them in the way that they're not like everything not it's not becoming an aggression for you, because when you have kind of empathy gift and this kind of stuff but you don't know how to manage them, you don't work on that, it then become more than a nightmare because everything comes to you, you grab the energies, everything around you, the people, the whatever. And even I had also a really interesting coach business I worked with that is also an energy coach business that helped me to founded one of my first company. And all those stuff lead me to some people in Dubai because I was living there for 2 years. And I was absolutely stunned by family constellation. That is for me one of the best kind of healing you can do. And it was quite impressive the result you get from it because it's something that is not with a plant or something. I've done ayahuasca, this kind of stuff. This is different. And because there is only
So
energy
what is
implied.
it like a horoscope, or you're doing your family constellation?
No, no, no.
What is
Family
that?
constellation, it's a therapy that is made with energy. There is someone who channel energy. And it's gonna be a group of person. So you come alone, but you come to a group. You're
Uh-huh.
gonna arrive with an issue. Let's say I cannot find love. Then the person who is channeling during the session, you're gonna choose one of the participants to be you. You're gonna say, okay, this person is me. This person is gonna go in the middle. The channeler is gonna channel your energy to this person. And then all the person that are here are gonna be used to get an emotion or a person of your life. The person will channel, but the person will not tell to the participant which emotion it is. And then, which is super interesting, for example, let's say something, so you cannot find love, you didn't get love from your mom. And then, so the person is going to channel you, channel your mom, and channel something else, for example, the grandmother, and
Uh-huh.
channel that she didn't get loved herself by the grandmother. So that's why, and they do a healing on you from all those energies, and all the participants are, it's something that lasts 5 hours long. It's like an afternoon.
Wow,
Enfin,
sounds
there
like
is several,
generational healing. So it
but two
basically
hours.
dissolves all
And
the
the people,
generational trauma.
yeah, but only on you. They cannot work on the energy of the family.
Yeah.
It's like if you have children, it won't go to them, but they cannot work because you don't have the consent of the people, so you don't work on their energy. So if
Yeah.
it's something with your mom, you will work on the impact of her energy to you. And it's like, and it's impressive because the person is just going to say, I don't want to be next to this person, or what they're feeling without knowing what they are. And it become a constellation because how the way the people are moving actually. And at the end, she will channel, for example, another emotion that is needed to solve the solution in the equation. And then she explains you everything and you can see how it is. It's
Love
super,
that.
super
I
impressive.
think I have to try this. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
you should look. I'm pretty sure there is some in Sydney also. And it's like, and so I have this friend that is Turkish master in detailing and everything. And I
yeah.
did with her like a lot of family constellation for almost 2 years. And sometime during the session, I was also speaking with her. And then also the people most of the time wanted me to be them. And then we talked one day and she was like, yeah, but it's because, you're channeling too. So when I do the session, you're channeling too, because, and it becomes interesting. And that's how I met her. I met her in another one where she channeled when she was attending. And then I was like, maybe that's something I could learn. And then that's why I passed a certification in Theta Healing that is using the Theta wave brain to do healing on the subconscious and this kind of stuff. But for now, it's been like 6 months or something. So I'm doing it one to one. I don't do groups because you need more mastering a bit more, but I'm doing some healing in one to one with my clients. And so that's
That's
how
amazing.
I went to healing.
I love it. That's awesome.
And so,
Everybody needs healing work. I think it's really important to explain that healing and falling in love is not something that you just do. Love and doing the work is something that's continuous. It's like going to the
yes,
gym. It has to be
yes,
a daily practice, because anybody
daily
who
practice.
otherwise is in for a rude surprise. That's when people give up too easy, because if you're not doing the work, it actually gets hard. You have to know how to do
Yes.
the work.
Oh yeah, and it's like it takes energy and time and dedication and the consistency. Because otherwise it's exactly like the gym, it doesn't work. And it's also like the gym, you cannot exercise for if you've never exercised, you cannot exercise for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and say, why don't I have abs? And
Yes, or go
people have the
hard
tendency,
and crash. It has to
yeah,
be a slow and steady build, because consistency is key. It's part of the skill set. It's part of any relationship. It's part of any practice that we do ourselves. I
yes.
always say that consistency
But it
compounds.
not, but not nowadays. I think it's an issue in the modern dating consistency in the
Yeah,
relation between men and
yeah.
women. There is a huge lack of consistency. They're in this mood where I don't want to own anything to anyone. They create a beginning of a relation, whatever, and then there is lack of consistency. And this is, I think, one of the issue we find in the modern dating. Like people are not used to be in the consistency anymore.
Yes, so I always say that if you want to actually be in a true love relationship,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're talking of that today.
Not
That's
a
the topic.
transactional, but a true love relationship. You have to have the
Yes.
three C's. So communication, commitment, and consistency.
Yeah.
If you don't have
100%.
one of those ingredients, it's not a true love relationship, because you can have
100%.
chemistry and consistency, and that's just a transactional relationship.
Yeah.
You give me money, I'll give you sex. It's basically
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
transactional.
yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
of course. I agree. And this is like, I think like this C, the consistency one is especially one that is more difficult to find today. So yeah, basically we were talking about the 3C, and I
Yeah, the
definitely think that, yeah, and I think that the consistency is the one lacking the most in our generation of dating,
yeah,
because like
absolutely.
people are not used to anymore.
Well, they're stuck on the dating roundabout because dating apps are so accessible. You swipe and you see someone.
Yeah,
Women are getting into their masculine energy because they're picking with their eyes. Women aren't meant to pick with their eyes. They're meant to feel who makes them feel good. Their feeling is feminine, thinking is masculine, and looking
yeah,
with our eyes is also masculine. So look, there's so much to know that having the skill set is imperative. It should have been taught in schools, but there wasn't a skill set. It's
mm,
more important than English and math, in my opinion, because matters of the
I
heart,
agree.
are so difficult. And when you understand the skill set, you naturally heal. And the real healing begins when we're actually in the relationship. So no matter how much people say, "Oh, but I'm not ready," I always say you're never going to be ready. It's like,
Yeah, it's
waiting
like
to have a
everything in
child.
life. You need, yeah, you need to jump in.
You
Like
need
you
to
cannot wait.
jump straight in. Yep. And you
It's
know
like
what?
I
It takes
I had that as
vulnerability
a
to fall in love.
in my screen. I had that. It was like done beats perfect every time, and it's true because I am a perfectionist, and sometimes I was like overthinking thing, project, whatever. Should I go? Should I not? And now I'm trying to be in the going with it, and you need to try, and you will see.
Yeah, absolutely. Just have to jump in. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. And when you have the skill set, you know what to do. So your confidence naturally rises, which is a natural healing thing. And then when you get triggered in the relationship, it's about communicating and knowing how to do the work. And one of the big things, especially for women, is asking for what we want.
Yes, which is difficult. It's, for example, in my personal experience, I think it was difficult to first of all, I think it takes time to understand exactly what you want as a woman, to pin it and to express it is against one something that is different, and we're not taught that as a woman.
Yeah, absolutely. Women are taught to, not speak up too much, to be well behaved, to be ladies, and all of that is true in some way, but also you have to be savvy and know how to do the work.
Yeah,
Especially when you get married, the real work starts, and you really need to be equipped with a skill set to know how to navigate a relationship and how to build that.
it's and especially sometimes it's also a big fun on the thought, if I can say, but of the woman because we don't talk, and it's like, and a good man that really likes you, loves you, and want the best. Most of the time, if you express yourself, they're quite more happy to meet your needs if they're logical ones. So it's like the issue sometimes is just we keep things for ourselves and we're waiting, like, but like
No,
they don't read minds. For
a
sure, they don't.
woman, a woman who's doing this or trying to be perfect is never going to fall in love. A woman
Yeah,
needs to be in her skin, in herself, and own every part of her. She needs to be perfectly imperfect. So
exactly.
if you get angry at some things and you're hiding that, it's going to come out eventually. We all have
Yeah,
a positive side and a negative side. So it's about loving and embracing every part of ourselves.
yeah. The same way that the people should love you and go in this direction in dating, because too many times I see that with some girlfriend. They're like, oh, the guy is perfect on that, but that and that, but he could change, and I'm like, then
No,
no, don't pick this guy. I say the only thing you can change in a man is his style, and most of the time they're quite happy for you to dress them up. That's the
that's
only thing you can
and
change.
that's the
But
only thing.
yeah, otherwise, if you think that, then it's not the good person for you. And it doesn't mean it's a bad person, but just it's not your person, because you should embrace the person fully with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. No fixer uppers. You know, someone needs to be who they're going to be now. Otherwise, you're going to spend your life always trying to fix them. I think an important distinction, Elle, to make here is that dating is only a tiny bit of falling in love. And I always say
Of
it's
course.
actually a negative part of falling in love because that dressing up and going to dinner, that's not real. That's not real life. That is going on a date. And when you're in a relationship with life and getting busy, especially if you decide to have kids and get married and work on top of that, there's
Of
only so much
course.
time during the week to go on a date. So you'll be lucky to get like one date a
No.
week.
Yeah, 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 of course. But when I say dating, I'm more like the global one and the communication, the steps to go
Yeah,
toward the
falling in
relationship. Because
love.
before
Yeah.
getting, it's like I'm taking it at a full. I'm not taking just the date experience of going out in a date. It's more like the dating phase, the phase where you get to know each other, then the phase where you need to assess the person in a way. The phase also that sometimes women they invest a bit too much in some men and then they see some red flags of stuff that are not matching their standards or what they want, but they're gonna keep investing because the brain has also this
No.
tendency once they're invested. No, I mean, a lot of women, yeah,
Yes. So in the skill set, we talk about if there's red flags. So there's different phases. So in the perfect phase, you won't see red flags, right? Because you have your rose-colored glasses on and
yeah,
it's perfect. But in the second phase, in the imperfect phase, you start to see stuff. And if there's red flags and those flags can't be cleared out, so in other words, they can't go from red to orange to yellow to green. You need to leave the relationship because it's not
yes,
going to get any better. And a lot of women and men make this mistake of, oh, but no, they're perfect because that first three
yes,
months was perfect. Well, the
and the
reality of it is,
projection they're
yeah,
doing
that was the
also.
dopamine high. If you can't move past the dopamine high, so after 3 months, if you can't move through the imperfect phase to deal with the real life side of that person, you're done. Leave them, move
Yeah,
on to the next person. But don't leave them because of the dopamine high. And that's what a lot of people
yeah,
do. A lot of people give up too easily because they don't know how to progress after the dopamine high. They want to go on that next date, that next dinner date, get dressed up
mm,
so they feel good. But that's a temporary band aid. A real love
yes,
relationship is about this. It's about communicating and about knowing how to progress because, one of the biggest secrets is that we actually all fall out of love in a long term relationship and we must fall back into love. So if you don't know how to do the work, how are you ever going to fall back in love when that love is not there
mm,
anymore? So
yes.
and we call that a reseduction in the skill set. It's really important to understand everything.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And so now we're going to do a little thing that I like in the Aristocool. It's the starter pack. So if someone wants to build a healthier relationship and they want to stop repeating the same pattern, what would be 3 to 5 advice that you would like to give to them?
Okay, so first of all, get the skill set, do the work, and get happy. Make sure that your energy is right. Picking the right person, number one. Number two, make sure that your family and friends agree with who they are, that they have perspective. Don't say, oh, I don't care what my friends think. If you don't care what your friends
Mm,
think, and they're seeing something that you're not, you're usually ignoring a red flag. Number
yeah.
three, I would say really
Not only that,
understand.
you should look at I think the friends of the person also because if you're like I like the guy but none of his friends are like,
Yes. Yeah, because who a person is evident in, they always say you
yeah,
are the top
yeah,
five
yeah,
people that you hang out with. So yeah, there's that. What was I up to? Number three was
yeah.
understand your confidence and be more confident in understanding the skill set phases. So that will help you build confidence because you'll know, okay, I'm in the negotiating phase. I know I need to discuss time, money, space, and play. And then I would say the most important one, I think we're up to number five, if I didn't lose
Yeah.
count, is
Oh yeah, yeah, but
really
like it's three
doing
to
the
five.
ongoing work, not ignoring that it's like going to the gym. You can't go for a month and get your body into shape and then be done. It's an ongoing, consistent doing of the work on ourselves and on the
Yeah.
relationship. So there's two components there because we're still an individual and then we also have the relationship.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. And so there is a little thing. It's like the conversation online now is a lot about around feminine energy. And I think it's something really important because in our society now, we are really pushed to go to the masculine by life capitalism, work. And it's difficult, I think, sometimes for women to switch from one to the other. So, would you have few advice around that? What is your intake?
Yes. Oh my gosh, there's so much to know around this. This is a whole
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah, this is an old other podcast, but
yeah, a whole other podcast. But just very quickly, and I've touched on it a little bit. Feminine is about feeling, and masculine is about thinking, right? That's just the
yeah,
simplicity of it.
yeah,
There's a
yeah.
lot more to it, but it's about a woman feeling how a man makes her feel and going
Hmm.
for that rather than, oh, he's got chiseled abs. And a man
Yeah,
needs to think, about how he can mold this lady or girl into a woman and how he thinks about, their interaction together. And then obviously when there's like, for example, I have masculine and feminine energy, so do you, Elle, because
yeah, yeah.
everybody,
We all have
so
all
it's learning how to cross communicate. There's lots of
polarity.
components in this, and you really have to understand it from that perspective because it is really necessary to know how to leave your plastic balls at home. In other words, not to demasculate a man, and also to know when you're in your masculine energy how to put him in his feminine energy, because men obviously have feelings too. So it's not about
Yes.
ignoring those or just being in your feminine, but it's about knowing how to build that relationship and that interaction between two people. But I would say it's really important for men to, you know, feel empowered and in their masculine alpha selves. And, a
100%.
woman, and a woman can really bring that into a man, and a man can really like make a woman shine. That's why they say
Yeah.
love is the greatest
Both,
force in the universe.
exactly. Oh, it's absolutely both. And I think it's so important that we put everything and everyone to the good place and also give back to men this opportunity because a lot of women, lots of stuff that has happened are now blocking men to have the opportunity to be in the masculine. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
that's like when it's like when you will be in your feminine and your man in the masculine, that it will be able to shine and to have this connection that is almost divine and that will make you the best version of yourself. So
absolutely.
let's do a quick Aristocool or not cool, okay? Um, ghosting,
Oh, not cool. Not cool.
dating
Coward.
apps,
Not cool. Sorry.
dating apps,
Not cool.
oversharing online,
Not cool. Don't do it.
meeting the love of your life,
Aristocool.
uh,
Absolutely. That's what we all want.
playing hard, playing hard to get.
Aristocool, for sure. Especially if you're a woman, you have to.
Yeah, I agree. Men scared of commitment.
Aristocool, they should be. Women can be really crazy.
I like that. It's a good answer. Checking your partner's phone.
Not cool. Don't do it.
No,
It's an invasion of privacy. And if you can't trust someone, you can't trust yourself. Maybe you're not ready.
100 time. And to finish, love bombing.
No, no, not cool. Not cool at all. If someone's doing it to you, do not mistake that for love. It's the opposite.
Exactly.
Slow and steady.
Exactly. Yes. So we're going now to arrive around the end of this podcast. If you would have like one truth that people need to hear about love or relationship, but they usually don't want to hear, what would it be?
You'll know if it's right or not right. But the biggest thing that I've already touched on is that, there's different phases to love. So you actually fall in love and then you fall out of love. And I think that's the biggest thing for people to realize is that they can't just give up so soon.
Yeah, I like that. And it's perfect because it can be the final advice. If people feel discouraged, it's like, don't give up. Don't give
Yes,
up.
it takes courage to get to love.
And so to conclude this podcast, we will put the link of the Instagram of Jackie. And also, do you have anything coming up? What are your projects or anything you would like to share?
Yes. Okay. So you can find me at Instagram at Jacquie Blaze, spelled Jacquie, and then Blaze is Blaze. It'll be linked, I'm sure. So you can go to the bio to pick up the skill set. I've made it affordable so that everyone can get that and equip themselves with that. We have some exciting things coming up, so stay tuned. Head over and follow that page, and we're having some really exciting stuff coming up that I can't wait to share with everyone. Well, thank you so
Amazing.
much.
A pleasure to have you. I will put everything in the links, all the description, the skill set, the link of the Instagram of Jacquie. And it was so nice to have you. Thank you very much for your time, Jacquie. And thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.